Hey, welcome back to the Atmospheric Cafe. I really love having the desk because I can, oh yeah, all the panting behind this is Douglas. Hi, Angel. Hello, lovey. Hey, lovey. He's deaf, so we gotta use sign language. So I feel like there is another reading tonight, so I'm just like going with it and like heading in. Okay. Okay, let's see what happens. They're like, no, don't shuffle. All right. So, no idea what's going on with this. I just know I've been feeling it for a little bit, and it's like, okay. But this is, I was so excited to get this desk set up so I could just. Five of Cups. Also, this is the Fairy Tale Tarot. For anybody that would like to know, I really love this tarot deck because I don't always go by the suit that's on there. I often scry within the picture, which is why if you're ever looking at this and going, yeah, that's not what that means, yeah, that's not what that means, it's what I'm picking up. But it's this deck, like kitty there. It is by Lisa Dunt. These are beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, let's see what we've got. I do rather enjoy this deck, but I like all my decks too. I just got a Grateful Dead deck as well. It's just like a subtle bit of anxiety over my hands. I have the Five of Cups, the Six of Coins, and Justice. I got one more card. Just uncovering my mirror, putting the phone up there. really being drawn to this key, and I'm really being drawn to this moon. The moon being drawn into, wow, look at it on there. That's really cool. It looks like the, over there, you'll see a little glare, right? Pointing, that little glare. This is not a glare. This is the picture. And, I'm really drawn to those two. Okay. I'm just looking into my mirror. Something about the key and the water. And if you see this card, it has the same little glowing things that kind of look like this moon. I'm sorry you can't see everything so well. Wait, I think I can bring it, yeah, more like that. I don't have my glasses on right now, so everything's kind of blurry. Which is okay. It's like we're trying to articulate the right words. There's a theme here of being uncomfortable. Like, some of you might be very uncomfortable about the fact that this card isn't turned over. This Queen of Wands is uncomfortable getting her dress fitted and altered. This older woman is uncomfortable with her age. This person is uncomfortable, maybe even feels left out from the dance. This person feels uncomfortable knowing the worries they have and, you know, their destiny in life. This person feels uncomfortable with their power. This person feels uncomfortable in life. Overwhelmed almost by their gifts, by everything around them. Each one of these people is overwhelmed, and each one of these people is different. And the card I pulled up says, I'm not even being mean. I'm just not actively making you feel comfortable. Sometimes healing means walking away. I mean, what did she walk away from to become the queen? What did he walk away from that he can no longer be in the dance? What does she longingly look at? Is it something she walked away from? And what has she walked away from that gives her such sorrow? But as uncomfortable as she feels, she's not walking away from her magic. Oh my God, I'm like almost in tears right now. She's not walking away from her magic. She's manifesting everything that she has. And as uncomfortable as this feels, she is taking in everything that she has. And she is learning it all in stride. With the good and the bad. And when things fall over, she goes, okay, I have to learn how to pick that back up and not tip it over again. How do I not tip it over again? Okay, well, this is how I tipped it over. Okay, well, if I put it up like this, okay, but if I keep it like this, I'm not going to tip that over. She's learning about her magic. I'm being told to say she's manifesting her magic. Be good, behave, be happy. Be yourself. The glare. This person is being themselves, taking in who they are. And even though this person has fear, they don't walk away. They look terrified, but they're still standing on the shore. They're still standing on the shore. They still have their feet in the water. They still have a trusty moose behind them, even though I know that's a log. But it looks like a moose. But right here, they're still opening the container that terrifies them, and they're letting it go. And they may die in the process of this. Because some of this is looking back. This is looking back. Being afraid but looking back and being okay with it. This is looking forward and knowing that you have to look forward in order to look back. I'm now going to write that down. Yes, this is a ball of yarn. Excuse me, cards, I apologize. Just going to write this down. I don't write anything quickly. So to all of those who don't write quickly, you've got a friend in me. Confirmation from someone. Okay. So yeah. They're afraid, but they're being themselves. She's afraid, but she's being herself. She's afraid and she is not herself. She's looking at, she doesn't even know who she is. She's just looking on. And he can't be who he wants to be. He can't be himself. This reading seems to be about being uncomfortable. You know, you're uncomfortable, you're afraid, you know, you're walking away, but you're being yourself. You're gaining your magic, you're afraid, but you're taking it in and honing it the best that you can, and with the help that you have around you. And these are very unjudgmental people. Yeah, sure, they might bust your balls a little bit, but best friends do, in a good way. This is about being uncomfortable. Even I feel kind of uncomfortable about this card. I say that, and here I am. Uncomfortable, bare, and vulnerable. You're the only one who can get tired of your own bullshit. She's making her way out of that. She is been tired of the bullshit around her, so she's been walking out of the bullshit. She's uncomfortable and she's afraid, but she's walking out of the bullshit. She doesn't listen to the bullshit. She has her magic to do, and she has her spidey senses that tell her what's bullshit and what's not. She has a bullshit-o-meter. She doesn't listen to it. And in being herself, there is no bullshit. She just is who she is, bare bones and all. No Botox, no special fancy clothing, no shoes. Just a sheath around her. Not everything is meant to happen all at once. Yeah. You can't become the queen overnight. It takes time to learn. And that's why you're uncomfortable. Because you don't know how to be this. You don't know how to be a queen. You don't know how to be a king. And I mean, this is the Queen of Wands, for the love of God. This is the mother. This is the bearer. This is the planter. This is the person who plants seeds and watches them grow. This is the person who knows how to justly treat their servants around them. And they don't necessarily treat them like servants, but everybody who works for them understands where the buck stops. Because remember, when this person is in reverse, this is a narcissist. And this is an uncomfortable position to be in and with. And this person knows that. That's why they're the Queen of Wands. And this is uncomfortable. And it's scary. And it's not something that can be learned all at once. You can't learn to be a queen all at once. Even if you're thrust into being a queen as a kitten, you can't learn it all at once. It takes time. I mean, look at her. She's taken time. You know? She knows not everything is meant to happen all at once. And this person knows that not everything is meant to happen all at once. And I was just told that these are the same two people. This is the witch when she's younger, learning her magic. And this is the witch when she's old, when she's learned her magic, and she knows now that it's this magic that she must do, this magic that must help the world, this magic that once she uncovers the lid from this, she too will wither away into nothingness, grow old and die before everybody's eyes, more rapid than time itself. He's learning how to be courageous by watching them dance, learning how to dance with them, practicing on his own until he feels strong enough to actually go up and say, hey, can I dance with you? Or go someplace else and try. He's working his way up because you can't learn every dance step all at once. She whiles away the hours, sweeping, tending the swans each night, wondering when it's all going to happen. When is it finally going to happen? When is it going to happen to her? When is it just going to stroll through the door and happen? When? When is it going to happen now? Because she doesn't understand that not everything is meant to happen all at once. And not everything happens all at once. She doesn't understand that. So she's literally waiting by a door for what she wants to just walk in and be placed in front of her. And that doesn't work. I mean, you know, this gentleman here might feel uncomfortable. He might be afraid, you know, he might not be able to be himself. He might even walk away, but at the end of the day, he also understands that not everything is meant to happen all at once, and if he watches for long enough, he'll learn these moves. He'll understand what they're doing, and he'll be able to go to them and say, hey, can I do that too? She knows it takes time to be a fair and just queen and how to learn how to do that. Because at the end of the day, she will be the Queen of Wands, but right now she's a kitten. And right now she's being fitted for something just in case she has to be the queen. She knows not everything is to be learned or happen all at once. I'm being told to turn this over now. The wise old man in reverse. Love is like a butterfly. And this is the messy one, not the clean one. This is the messy one where I wrote all the little white drunk butterflies all over it, because white drunk butterflies, I believe they are, I think it's milkweed, but I can't remember. So I'm probably wrong on that. But whatever it is that they put their chrysalis on, I'm going to take my hand off the mirror for a second. You do with your spiritual tools as you do, I do with mine. And when they're in the chrysalis, they get drunk because whatever plant they put it in, whatever happens, there's a whatever. And they get drunk, and that's why when they come out, they flitter around like this, because they're drunk. They're literally drunk. I'm being told this is a man who's in his sorrows. This is a man who might even be drinking to get those sorrows away. might need more chocolate. We'll see. I'm trying to put less chocolate in my coffee. Wish me luck. This queen's unwilling to put up with messy love. She's not going to, and she's not going to pick a king until she finds one that she not only loves, but isn't messy love-wise. And for this queen, what that also means is finding a king who, even if she doesn't love him, that she likes him. Because it's always important to be with somebody that you like, not just somebody that you love. Because, okay, stop. Because it's when you're in a relationship, you have to like that person. Love is great. Love is wonderful. You should definitely love them. If you don't love them, don't be in the relationship with them. But in order to grow that relationship over a period of time, you have to like that person. You literally have to like them. You have to like that person enough to want to stay with them for the rest of your life and understand that you don't like your best friend enough to do that. You hope you do, but in reality, you like this person so much so more than your best friend that this like of this person outweighs this love, which creates this supreme love. And that is the love of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the divine human. And this queen knows that that takes time, and she's not going to put up with bullcrap. This king did. He's just whatever he is. Yeah. I'm putting these together because they're the same person. She knows love takes time. My goodness, what is he doing? He needs to go get a drink. She knows love takes time. I mean, this is her old fool, and he's a bit of an asshole. But, you know, he turns up this way, too. Aren't they all adorable together? And it's not that she puts up with it, it's that she understands it. So when he goes a little dipsy doodle, she still loves him. I mean, it's his ashes that she took the top off of. And she knew that the moment that she did it, she would fade into dust with him. Love is like a butterfly. Love is messy, but not messy in the way where everybody is arguing and cheating and being horrible. Messy in the way that you know they like really, really gross chocolate bars and gross desserts, and that's messy because you don't want all that all the time. You might not even want it at all. You know, love is messy means accepting the fact that, you know, the sheets come out of the corner and that the bed is never going to be made again the way that you want it, and he's never going to pull up that side of the bed. Ever. But if you love him, you accept those things, because the things that matter, not only will he be willing to change, he may even come in with that, I'm being told, already installed. He wants people that he's told he can't have. So he looks from afar. She's waiting for him to walk through the door with a diamond ring. Just like she's waiting for her career to drop in there. But do we see her with a backpack? Do we see her go to school? Do we see her try to better herself? Do we see her trying? No, we see her sweeping and doing the same thing every day. while she waits for it to walk in. She's had the ultimate love. She's had the love. And she knows that love is messy, and she knows that love is unmessy. And she knows how to love somebody, and she knows how to like somebody, and she knows the difference between love and like. And she stands with one sword, not two. Because sometimes, even though love is like a butterfly, love gets messy. And it's no one's fault. But these things happen. Her sword is in the ground and she is disheveled. Because this breakup, it was more like a death. And she knows that love is messy when a breakup is like a death. And a breakup can only be like a death when people are cheated out of the relationship. And not cheated out because, you know, someone made the choice to go out and physically find someone to cheat with. But when another party enters to physically break up the relationship purposefully. Everything is technically ephemera. Ephemera are things that aren't supposed to last long periods of time. They're only supposed to be in the moment. You know, like the Bazooka Joe gum wrappers. That's ephemera. That's not the stuff that you save forever. That's the stuff that you throw in the garbage and it goes to a landfill. You know, that's ephemera. But sometimes ephemera survives. And on some level, all of these people live in it. They live in this ephemera. And it's okay to live in the ephemera. All of these people are living in the ephemera. And that's perfectly fine. However, this is all she's living in. She expects everything to just walk through the door and come through the door and save her from the swans. She's just expecting it to walk in. And it's not going to. I mean, the wise old man. For the love of Christ, he's old. But he knows that things don't just walk in. And he knows that everything is technically ephemera. Because eventually, everything goes away. Everything fades. In 100 years, whatever he did in his kingdom will be ephemera because not everybody will remember. And that will be really sad. That will be really sad. But that's okay. Because as wonderful as ephemera is, we have to remember we can't live in the ephemera. We can't live in the past that no longer sits here with us. We have to move forward. I mean, even this gentleman right here who wants to so desperately dance, who wants to so desperately love the human he wants to love. He might be sitting in a form of ephemera, but he's also trying to learn these dance moves. And trying to do that, filling his joy, will allow him to just walk away and be in his joy and be who he needs to be. I mean, he may never join this dance group. He may have to leave where he's living to find some place that will accept him. And often, if you've had enough trauma, leaving where you are is very, very healing, as long, I love you, Rachel, as long as you remember that you have to do a certain amount of healing where you are in order to move. Because once you move, it feels really good for a little bit because everything is new. But about 3 to 6 months later, usually around 3 months, all of your problems come back to you. Everything. I mean, she's looking so hard out that door, you know she can't wait for someone to come and take her away. The first bestie that says, hey, let's move to Delaware, she's going. And she's going to be fine for about 6 months. And then all of a sudden, it's going to kick in. And she's still going to be miserable there because she's still going to be waiting for someone to walk through the door to save her. She's still going to be waiting for her career to walk in while she's working at the Walmart and getting her hours cut. She's still waiting no matter where she moves to. Excuse me. No matter where she moves to, the same cough is still there. The same problem is still there. The same allergies are still there. It's just she's in a new place and they followed her. But these people grew together in the ephemera. And they knew that nothing would walk through your door. They understood that they understood that everything is ephemera and that the points of ephemera, that were important, I'm being told were words. I'm burping them up. The burps. The words that they said, words that they forgot, those were ephemera, but every single word meant something. Every little word a smile, every little thing. Oh, she thinks he's so cute. She says he's one of those cute men that drive you crazy. It's amazing how the image here looks just like the picture here. I wish I could show you guys. Excuse me. The ephemera of your relationship is a beautiful thing. Even a wonderfully loved, wanted relationship on both sides that was destroyed by a third party is ephemera. It's something that was in the past. It's something that makes you stronger. I just have like a sudden well of emotion. Oh, wow, I didn't know. I just put the, oh, okay. I just put these two together and I didn't, that, all right, I guess. Which is funny. Because this card says, the space between what's wrong and right is where you'll find me hiding, waiting for you. That's from The Space Between by Dave Matthews. This was a lesson that they learned very young on the battlefield. Warring next to each other. She with her magic, he with his sword, I'm seeing this big, huge giant. I don't know what this weapon is, but and she smiles. And he sees her. All of this time, through all of these problems, he's always known. And she's always known that she can go back there. I'm thinking of a card in here, which is your safe spaces meeting their safe space. And when you go to the space between what's wrong and right, or where your smile hides, that's where you find that person waiting for you. Those are those little moments where you're in the emergency room for an emergency for someone else that you love dearly, and there's just this little, they're asleep and you go over and hug them. That's the space between. The space between is the middle of the night when you both wake up to go to the bathroom and then you kiss it before you go back to bed. Kiss in the hallway. Oh, you got up to pee. Yeah, you got up to pee. Yep, see you in the bedroom. You see you in the bedroom. He knows about the space between. And that's where he is right now. He's in the space between. He's in the space between of realizing he's in between the space of what's right and wrong, and he's trying to realize what is right. And he's trying to hear his heart. And he's trying so hard. But he's afraid, because remember, if he listens to his heart, he loses everything. But if he doesn't listen to his heart, he's not going to be happy. If you are this person, though, I do feel that there is someone in the space between for you, whether you know them or not. She's fought in the space between what's right and wrong. And she fought really hard. But he didn't find her in the space between. Simply because he couldn't see. He had been blinded by someone else's sword. This is him now. This is what they used to be. And then someone took him away. And she fought hard with her swords, as hard as she could. For her love. For the literal Two of Cups. But he was taken. That's her story. That's why she sits there frazzled. She sits there unkempt. She sits there wild, like she's part of the woods now with her one sword that she knows she can sharpen in the dirt because she's grounded. They don't use their bar license the way I use my bar license. That means that when it comes to law, some lawyers, oh wow, that's funny. That's absolutely hysterical, actually. That's seriously fucked up spirit. Some lawyers let mentally unwell people get divorces, and if your person is mentally unwell, the law says the lawyer has to say no. But as Michael Popak says, some people don't use their bar license the way I use my bar license. You know, sometimes the way that you are, your goodness, your wholeness, the things that you know are right to do that people usually do, not everybody does that. Not everybody shares your kindness. And this is something that this person knows. And this queen knows, and these people know. This person is just unkind. They don't know. So this is a reading about being comfortable in your life as who you are, as what you do and don't have, feeling uncomfortable in a position that you're scared to be in, feeling uncomfortable in a new way of life that wasn't necessarily supposed to be that way. I don't want to be abusively tested while you figure out that I'm not going to abuse you. None of the people on this board, including her, believe it or not, she may be in Daydreamsville. She may not even have a clue. But they all have the understanding that no one wants to be in a relationship where a person tests them to the point of abuse. Like, you'll have some people that get scared in relationships, so they test the boundaries of this relationship. But if you're testing first of all, if you're testing the boundaries of a relationship, that's a problem. Don't do that. That's just wrong. You don't test boundaries. That's just fucked up. You shouldn't have a reason to, whoever you are, saying that, well, there might be a reason. No, there's not. If you have to test a boundary, it means you don't trust that person or you don't respect their boundaries. Because what would you do if they tested your boundary? You will lose your shit. And I know for a fact you would, because there's somebody who will be eventually watching this, and I can feel your energy now. In July of 2025, at the end of, I think it's like July 25th or something, 23rd. I think it's the 23rd, 25th. I think it's the 25th. I don't know what the date is today. Hold on. It's July 27th. Okay. I can feel your energy now. And you're saying to me that there's a reason to test boundaries. And I am saying to you who is watching, and don't take this if it doesn't resonate, but I know that there's one person out there because I feel your little prickly energy right now. And you're telling me there's a reason to test boundaries. There's a reason to do all these tests. And I'm going to say to you, if that person did the same thing that you want to do to them, what would you do? If they wanted to check your phone all the time, what would you do? If they wanted to go through your purse all the time, what would you do? If they were to test all of your boundaries, what would you do? You would lose your shit. And why? Because I don't want to be abusively tested while you figure out that I'm not going to abuse you. And, you know, that. Even this person knows it. This king abhors it. And this person, he's been abusively tested in relationships that nobody knows about. And he doesn't want that behavior. That's why he's kind of like leery to leave where he is. Does he go down here and say, hey, I'm gay? Or does he stay up here and go, hey, I'm just going to stay up here? And this is a big decision. So you make this decision as you want to. You make this decision in the time that you have to. Maybe you're not gay. Maybe it's something else, but gay came up. So yeah, it could be, it could be any LGBTQ plus. That's fair. That is fair spirit. So, you know, yeah, it's true. Each one of these cards does have their placement, which I've not had that happen before. But I like this reading a lot. This is nifty. But you don't want that. That's why at this point you're just like, you know, maybe I need to just like move 2 towns away and then just go back and visit my parents on occasion. They'll be fine. They'll get over it. They'll get over it. They'll be fine. You know, they're going to say, remember, I'll always be here for you even if you can't see me, because they love you. You are going to get to know each other, but through the discovery of yourself. The king and queen already know that. And this little kitten here, she is really getting to know herself. She doesn't actually know who she is. She's waiting for everything to walk in, and as soon as everything that she wants walks in, then she'll know exactly who she is. But right now, she has no idea who she is because she's waiting for everything to walk in. And you can't wait for everything to walk in order to know who you are, because you have to know who you are in order for everything to walk in. You see, he knows who he is. He's just afraid to put himself out there. But he knows when he does, he's going to be on Broadway and succeed. There's not going to be a problem in the world with that. She did put herself out there, and now she's scared to do it again. Because she doesn't want to be hurt again. And this wild in the weeds and the thicket, this is a lot for her. And she's tired. That's why she's not carrying her sword at the moment. But her sword is still by her side, which is the good part. I do feel like she has a king out there, though. I do feel like eventually this king is going up there. A king, that's the wise old man, still a king, though. Whoever you are, I feel like when you leave this and you find and you get yourself situated and the time passes where, you know, everything comes back, or, you know, you healed as much as you could before you left and now you can't, and then, you know, 3-4 months later, you know, things are still going to hit you. They're just not going to hit you as hard because you worked on them where you were. At some point, like a year after that, I'm seeing like 16 months. That's an odd number. It might even be in the 7th month. You're going to find someone. And you're going to discover, you're going to get to know each other, but through the discovery of yourself. You're going to discover who you are, and by discovering who you are, you're going to get to know your partner even more. This person isn't going to do that. They're never going to discover who their partner is, and this person, they knew who their partner was. And that's who you lie between, and I feel like you want to be the person that really does know who their partner is, but not in the creepy way. The queen has always known who she is, and these people grew old together and they know who they are. Life is too short to fight socks on and fight socks off. That's my grandfather right there, Rowland Wiltsey. That's my grandpa. He said that when he was dying with cancer. With cancer, he was trying to put a pair of socks on, and you know how you get that pair of socks that, you know, they're so small, but you still try to fit them on your feet? He just sat there and said that life is too short to fight socks on and fight socks off. He threw them away, and he got the pair of socks that fit. And that's really important. Don't try to make things fit. This person is going to try to make things fit. This person is tired of making things fit. This person never had to try because everything just fit. And the relationship that this person here had is the relationship. Let me clarify that. We saw the story of her relationship, okay? The one that she was cheated out of, which is why she looks like she lives in the wilderness. These people were able to keep their relationship together. No one interfered within their relationship. So they learned how not to fight things that weren't going to fit. They learned how to find what fits and work with it and deal and live with it. And they learned how to help something else stretch a little bit if it needed to. She doesn't expect to have to sacrifice anything, and he already knows that not everything fits. And because she's always going to be a little shorter, she's always going to have things altered. So why even fight something that's too long? Yeah, okay. This is okay. The next question is, God, WWPD. It's not what would Jesus do? It's what would Picard do? In all of these situations, you know, when you get into a situation where you don't know how you should go about being who you are, when you're waiting for something to come in and maybe you're tired of it and you need to figure out what to do, when you can't reach the top shelves or you're learning how to do the new stuff, when your soul is crushed and hurt and you become fundamentally a new person, what would Picard do? What would Jean-Luc Picard do? What would he do? What would that, because he is a wise old man. What would the wise old man do? How would he handle these things, you know? That's what you ask yourself. You know, do you have a wise old man? Do you have, like, my grandpa was a very wise man. You know, what would my grandpa do? Well, my grandpa would say this to me and that to me. I mean, he's such a trusted human to me. What would your trusted human say to you? Because this doesn't have to be a parent. This doesn't have to be a relative. This can be, because not everybody has that. This can be that person in your life who has always been there for you, who has always been that hand on your back and said, hey, I gotcha. You're falling backwards, I gotcha. Hey, what do we need to do? And in the end, because this is the final card I've been told. Hold on, I need to double check. Yes. And this is actually the final message for you from the universe, I'm being told. Okay? Wow, I can't believe that was the old man underneath that card. The wise old man. I'm just fucking floored. I'm sorry, excuse my language. I'm just absolutely, like, I'm just, you know, sometimes this stuff happens and then you just, like, sit here and think about it. Because what was this originally about? This is about being uncomfortable. And this was upside down like this. And I kept getting the key and the moon, the key and the moon, the key and the moon, you know? And weren't we all uncomfortable? But then we turned it around and it was the wise old man. I mean, it just, that card. And then it just... This is a reading about being uncomfortable. This is a reading about wanting to manifest something better for yourself, for wanting something better for yourself, and understanding who the people are that will never get there. Because they're always just waiting for something to come in while they're sweeping up the duck poop, you know? This guy, he might not be, you know, out and he might not be out. And remember, if you don't live in a comfortable environment, do what you need to do. You be safe. That's all I'm saying, because I love your freaking face. So, as I've said, oh God, I love your face. So, you know, at the end of the day, he is uncomfortable, but he is working on trying to get out of there. She is, you know, always going to be uncomfortable, but she will persevere on. She will learn the way of the bog. She will learn the way of the woods, and in that way, she will learn peace within herself. And these people were allowed to have what she wanted, and there were moments of uncomfortability, and there were moments that they had to learn who each other were and was. And because every 7 years you have to relearn who the person is. And remember, after about 5 years in a relationship, your brain realizes that you're not going to be with anybody else. So it kind of throws you into a free fall. So if you start to feel like you're losing yourself, I'll tell you, you're not losing yourself. Your body is coming to the realization that you like this person to stay with them longer, and you are not on the lookout for anybody. So all of those like little senses are like turned off so you can focus and be with this one person. And it can feel like you're losing yourself, but you're not actually losing yourself. You're actually gaining. You're gaining not only a new part of yourself, but a new part of this connection with your person. And if both of you can do this, you end up in this really, really gorgeous relationship. You know, I mean, these two people, they had one fucking hell of a relationship. This is like my grandma and my grandpa right here, you know? My grandparents were so in love that my grandma died on February 13th, 1994. My grandpa died September 21st, 1994. And that's a cry. When she died, he was devastated. He very much so turned into that. And that's when his cancer came back. But he was 79. He was a happy man. And that's what matters. And, you know, at the end of the day, what Spirit wants you to know is you're the bravest you've ever been. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You are the bravest you've ever been. You know, this little queen, she's the bravest she's ever been, and she's scared to be the queen. You know, she might be 15 years old, and now she's got to take the throne, and she's never done this, and she's got to, like, you know, I mean, it's not like she hasn't been trained, but now it's her turn, and, you know, this is scary, you know? And, you know, these guys, they just pump each other up with positive affirmations all the time, so they're constantly saying this. And she needs that. She needs to know that she's brave, because she doesn't think that she's brave right now, and she's terrified. And he needs to know he's brave because he is. And she, even though she's expecting everything to walk through the door, she doesn't, it's like she sees bravery out the doorway, but she doesn't know how to bring it in for herself. And because she doesn't know how to bring it in for herself, she doesn't know how to manifest what she wants to come to the door. She doesn't know how to leave. She doesn't know how to leave the swan yard to go through that door to achieve what she wants. So there's a huge duality in this. On some level, she expects everything to walk through, but on the other level, she doesn't really know how to walk out the door to attain it. And that ends up being a problem because you can't be brave like that. You just end up in fear. You end up in fear. You know, you don't get to know yourself. You don't get to discover yourself when you can't walk out the door. You know, I mean, it just really, it becomes a problem because then when somebody does walk through the door and he's a cute mystery, you end up being like, oh my God, I'm in love. And then he, you know, it becomes a problem. Because you don't actually know that that's not what love is. These people do. I mean, she's not been in love yet, but when she does find him, she knows what to expect. He knows what to expect, even though he's scared. He knows what he wants and what to expect. She has no idea what love is. She has no idea what it's like to be in love, and she just assumes it's all fancy and fun, and it's not. Love is hard. Love is struggle. But she's not going to want to put the 2 cents into that. She's not going to want to hear that. She's not going to any of that. She's not going to want any of that. She's just going to expect it to walk through the door and take care of itself and own itself and do its own thing. And she doesn't understand that's not what happens. But everybody here does. They're just all in different positions of life. Hey, Ernesto. I love you, puppy. You're doing great. They're just in all in different positions of their life. So as you're going about your day, remember that. You are the bravest you have ever been in any position of which you are in your life, unless you don't understand how to go out and achieve what you want. I mean, all of these people are at different parts. All of them are scared. All of them have gone out. All of them are achieving. All of them are doing what they're supposed to do. But this person, she just expects it to come to her, and it's not going to happen that way. Will she someday learn that, no. She's never going to learn. I never sank my head into my pillow until I met you. Her, these two, and this guy, when they meet the love of their life, they will have never slept as well in their life. Meeting that person who will be their partner, who they can put all of themselves into the relationship canister of. When they meet that person, and she has met that person, and this is that couple, they sleep better. Their head sinks into that pillow, and it actually sinks into the pillow, and the sleep is grand and divine, and you wake up so rested. And these two will find that, and they'll discover that. But she doesn't rest her head well. She always thinks there's a pea under her mattress when there isn't. She just doesn't sleep well because she's looking for something that she's not going to get, that she's not going to find. Part of it could be that maybe she's just a slave to taking care of these swans. Maybe the other part is maybe she's trapped there and she can't get out. But at the end of the day, she literally can't leave to get what she wants, and she wants what she wants to achieve, to come just walking in. She wants them to walk in like the swans are walking in. It's just, every one of those swans, the achievement she wants. Yep, walk in, pluck, 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 like a game. You just pick up this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I think we're going to leave this here. And I thank you all for being here. I hope that this helped you, whoever you are. And I wish you well. I wish you all the happiness in the world. Remember, be good, behave, be happy, and be yourself. Remember, you are enough. You're not too much. You're doing everything you're supposed to be doing in the space and time you're supposed to be doing it in. And you don't have to do it any quicker than what you are, okay? Okay. So remember, good night, God bless you, we love you.